This episode contains discussions of infidelity and death. Listen at your own discretion. It is Sunday, the 26th of January, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. We haven't talked about Foo Fighters in a while on this show, and if you haven't had your head in the sand, you probably know why. Last year, Dave Grohl revealed that he had fathered another child outside of his marriage, and since then, Foo Fighters have been kind of quiet on things. They cancelled a performance at a festival, and there's been massive backlash about it, and I'm very much a proponent of separating the art from the artist. I've talked about artists on here that I despise as people. I mean, even my favorite band, Elbow, who I've talked about a bunch of times, I always bring up how Craig Potter, the keyboard player, is a transphobic asshole. But, you know, even so, because it was so current, it just kind of put me off listening to Foo Fighters and talking about Foo Fighters. But I do really love their music, and I do want to talk about it. So I'm talking about it today. I just want you to know that I am aware of what has been happening, because I'm not deaf or blind. And it's wild. Big Alexander Hamilton energy, honestly. Anyway, today we're talking about the song Home from the album Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace. In fact, it is the song that gives the album its title. That album's from 2007. It's the album that finally got me into Foo Fighters, because I knew some of their songs, but hearing the song The Pretender on music television is what got me into them finally as a band, and that's on this album. And this album has some great songs on it. Long Road to Ruin is also a favorite of mine. Let It Die is great. And then this song Home comes at the end, and it's like a quiet, introspective song to kind of round out the album. And I really love it, and I love its place on the album. A lot of people don't like it. Not a lot of people. I've seen some people say it's like disappointing compared to the rest of the album, but I think this makes the album. I love this song. It's one of my favorite Foo Fighters songs, and I love putting it at the end of playlists. So let's go ahead and listen to it now, and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Home by Foo Fighters. I do love how that song... I mean, it's not what you expect from Foo Fighters, right? I've said this before, I think, about how often my favorite songs by loud bands are their quiet songs. Like, I love Slipknot. I love songs like Duality and People Equal Shit and things like that, and Custer. But like Snuff, which gets loud as it goes, or Circle, I really like. One of my favorite Slipknot songs is Danger Keep Away, Vermilion Part 2 as well. You know, I love quiet songs by loud bands because it gives you a really interesting dynamic. And this song, while it doesn't stay entirely just vocals and piano are the heart of it. There's also strings and there's drums, but for the most part it's vocals and piano, and I love that, and I love how it comes at the end of this album, because, you know, previously in this album you had The Pretender, which is all, what if I say I'm not like the others, and Let It Die, and Erase Replace, and Long Road to Ruin, and everything, and Come Alive, you know, and then you come to the end here and you get this song, just quiet, soft piano, and I love it so much. So let's go into what the song is actually about. The song is about wanting to go home. But it doesn't just mean the physical place. Home is where the heart is, you know. It's about peace. It's about finding like a moment of peace, going home as in like going to your happy place, going to your safe place, you know. And so let's go into lyrics. Wish I were with you, but I couldn't stay. Every direction leads me away. Pray for tomorrow, but for today, all I want is to be home. That sounds like it could be about a relationship. I mean, you could read that as him talking about being away from his partner while out touring. You know, it's something that comes up a lot for musicians when they're touring. They miss their family back home. Now, I won't discuss the irony of maybe talking about Dave Grohl missing his wife, but, you know. But you could also read this as being just about missing the people you love, like your friends and other people who aren't where you are right now, you know. Wish I were with you, but I couldn't stay. You know, you had to keep going. Every direction leads me away. Pray for tomorrow, but for today, all I want is to be home. We'll meet again, basically, is what it's saying here. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when. Stand in the mirror, you look the same. Just looking for shelter from cold and the pain. Someone to cover, safe from the rain. And all I want is to be home. This bit makes me think of Undertale. If you don't know anything about Undertale, that's fair enough. It's a very specific thing. It's a very popular thing. But I mean, it's a very complicated video game. And, you know, even if you're into games, you might not be into that kind of game. But it's a whole thing about cycles and repeated things and all that. But at the start of the game, there's a mirror you can look into. And when you do, it comes with a little text box. It's you. And that's all it says. And then later on in the game, way later on in the game, if you look in that mirror again, it says, despite everything, it's still you. And that's become like a very powerful phrase for the fandom. And I'm not even a fan of the game. Not that I don't like it. I just didn't really play it. I played a bit of it, but like I'm not really a turn-based combat guy or a bullet hell guy for that matter. And that's what that game is. So not really my bag. But I like a lot of the concepts in it. And that phrase sticks with me. And so here, stand in the mirror, you look the same. You know, you're the same person that you've always been. And that's kind of what the Undertale thing is saying as well. Is like, despite everything you've been through, you're still you. You're still here, you know? And it's an interesting lyric here. Just looking for shelter from the cold and the pain, someone to cover safe from the rain. So, you know, wanting to be with people who make you feel safe, and friends and family, and, you know, whether it's with an umbrella or with a roof over your head, you know, someone to cover safe from the rain. But also you can take it like more metaphorically of like safe from the rain as in like safe from your problems, safe from depression, people who help you with difficult times. And all I want is to be home. And then echoes and silence, patience and grace, all of these moments I'll never replace. No fear of my heart, absence of faith, and all I want is to be home. Ooh. Echoes and silence, patience and grace is an interesting line, because it's like echoes and silence are opposites of each other. You can't have silence in an echo, because an echo is a repeated sound. Patience and grace are not contradictory either. They're not the same thing, but they tend to go hand in hand, you know? And it's kind of giving you these contrasting and similar elements that are part and parcel of a safe place. I mean, patience and grace, obviously, but like echoes, as in people talking back to you and people agreeing with you and giving you back what you need. And then silence as well, of just peace, right? All of these moments I'll never replace. No fear of my heart, absence of faith, and all I want is to be home. Just wanting to go back to that time of echoes, silence, patience, and grace. And that's, of course, the title of the album. They decided on it because Dave Grohl said they were really struggling with what to call the album, and they eventually ended up going with this because it's a kind of an eclectic album, and this is an eclectic idea. And then you get the ooh, and there's an instrumental break where the drums come in and everything, and it's kind of this big sweeping thing, and he says again, all I want is to be home. And then it drops back to just the piano and the vocals. People I've loved, I have no regrets. Some I remember, some I forget. Some of them living, some of them dead. And all I want is to be home. There is always, and I said this in the My Hero episode as well, people always want Dave Grohl's songs to be about Kurt Cobain. And I'm sure he was thinking of Kurt Cobain when he wrote this song, but he's not the only person that Dave has ever lost. And more recently, he lost Taylor Hawkins, of course, the drummer. I talked about this in the My Hero episode as well. And his own mother as well, which just makes it all the sadder. But yeah, people I've loved, I have no regrets. Some I remember, some I forget. That's just the truth of it. Life is long, and you'll forget people, but you love them. And it doesn't change that. Some of them living, some of them dead, and all I want is to be home. I also want to point out, this is the most obscure reference I'm going to make. There's a band called Here to Help You Out. I know nothing about them. My friend recommended them. I think one of the members is my friend's friend. They're not a popular band at all. I think they only ever released one EP, but it's great, and I listen to it sometimes. But there's a lyric at the start of one of the songs that always sticks in my head. They have a song called Little Blue Star, and the line is, she shines above me, my little blue star, reminds me of who I am and of my scars. Some I'll forget, all I'll survive. She reminds me I'm still alive. So the some I remember, some I forget here reminded me of that, because it's that idea of, you know, I might forget where I got my scars, but I survived all of them because they're scars. I didn't die. And I kind of am relating that here of like, even if he forgets the people he loved, he still has that love. He still felt that love. It still had an effect on his life, you know? Yeah, just a very sweet song, a very pretty song to end the album, and a great song to end this week, indeed. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week. Next week, again, unthemed, just doing more songs that I enjoy, and hopefully that you enjoy too. You know how it'd be. And then I think the week after that, I'm doing the Valentine's week. Is it really that soon? Maybe it's the week after the week after. Anyway, until then, thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.